Hey guys, it's Fadra from All Things Fadra, and I've gone rogue. You knew I had to make a bad joke, right? A corny. I feel like every time I'm filming a video here, the bad jokes just naturally come. Anyway, you are looking at the 2021 Nissan Rogue. Now, if you're thinking, wait, didn't you already do the Nissan Rogue? Yes, I did. In fact, you might remember that I reviewed the Monarch Orange Nissan Rogue with my Monarch Orange hair, not one of my better looks. And you might also remember that I was less than impressed with the Rogue. So, the Nissan Rogue has been redesigned from the ground up for 2021, and I thought it was high time I took a look at it. I'm going to step back so you can get a good look at this Nissan Rogue. This is actually the SL all-wheel drive, so it's a higher trim level than I looked at previously. I'm going to show you the inside, the outside, and talk about some of the driving features that they have, and give you my overall review and impression. But, spoiler alert, I like this so much better than the last Rogue that I had. But I'll be sure to tell you why, what they've changed, what they've improved, and why I think this is a pretty sweet ride. Let's start with a classic walk around. Classic, yeah, like that's my thing. We're gonna do the walk around, and I wanna talk a little bit about the trim level. This is the SL, there's also the SV and the S, and then there's the Platinum level. And I have to admit, I went through the process on the website to build and price it, and it's kind of confusing because it does not show that this paint color is available for SL, and yet I have it. But this is one of the things that I love the most. This is called Boulder Gray Pearl, and it is a two-tone paint job. So you'll see it's got the black on the top, the black accents here, and then it's got this flat gray, which I love. With the package, we also get the 19-inch rims. We also have LED lights in the front and in the rear. And let's see, overall, just a change in the body design. It's a little sleeker, it's a little boxier, and it doesn't really change the dimensions of the car. So I think a lot of the changes that we're seeing are mostly cosmetic. There are some changes under the hood though, so we'll talk about that when we get to the drive. But why don't we go around back, because the rear, the way the rear looks is one of my favorite things about the Nissan Rogue. The rear of the vehicle is where I really notice most of the design changes. I just think it looks really sleek, it looks really modern. I didn't realize how dated the other Rogue looked until I saw the new Rogues, and it actually got me kind of excited. I do think the two-tone really helps accentuate some of the lines as well. While we're back here, we're going to go ahead and check out the cargo space, which is where I ran into a lot of issues with my last Rogue review. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how much I've grown and how much I've learned about Nissan. So first of all, it does have the hands-free liftgate, and I've become a pro at this. First of all, make sure you have the key fob in your hand. And then you see this little button right here. I try to use this button as a guide to just give it a quick kick right underneath. And there we go. Now our liftgate is open. While we're back here, I want to show you something else that I've learned so that I can redeem myself a little bit. And I'm going to show you the divide and hide system that Nissan has back here. It's got a couple different positions. We've got two different panels here, and they can be placed in different positions. So this small one can be placed in a lower position. That one's pretty easy. This top one can be lifted, and you can stand it upright, so you can put stuff back there and put stuff up here. Or this one can also be lowered, so now you have an overall lower floor for cargo. Okay, but wait, there's more. This one can come out, not that you need to take it out, but if you want to take it out, this one has a lock, so you can unlock it, and you can also remove it. Now, why would you want to remove it? Well, I'll tell you why. Underneath here is a temporary spare. It looks pretty big, but that's a temporary spare here. And cleverly over here, Nissan has given you your tire jack. While you're over here, you'll notice that you have a 12-volt port back here. By the way, does anybody use these? I really want to know if anyone uses those. I've never used one in the back, but they're always in the back, so I'd like to know. If you want to use the full cargo space back here, you're going to want to have the divide and hide at the upper platform level, and that will give you a nice flat surface when you put the second row down. So you've got a 60-40 split here. And there are levers on the tops of the seats, so if you're in the second row and want to put the seats down, you can. But when you're back here, the easiest way to do it are these levers right here on the side. And listen, you're gonna pull it and you're gonna feel like you're gonna break it. Keep going anyway. There you go. And then the seat folds flat. We're gonna do that for both sides. And you can see how that gives you a nice, flat, wide surface for cargo. Okay, I'm gonna put the seats back up. You really just lift them up, push them back. Let's talk about what it's like to be a second row passenger, which thankfully I don't have to do that often. I'm sitting behind the driver's seat, which is configured for me, a 5'3" short lady. So as a 5'3" short lady sitting behind me, there is a lot of leg room. I'm gonna get my much taller son to sit back here and tell me what he thinks. Let's do the teen passenger test.
There is a comfortable amount of leg room.
How about this side?
There is still a comfortable amount of leg room.
Thank you for your expert opinion. If I sit on the other side, where he's been sitting up front, the seat is back much further, and I find that I still have a pretty comfortable amount of leg room. Really good leg room back here, rear vents, and I know some of you think that that is standard. It's not. So I am always thankful when there are rear vents, and it actually does have climate control back here for the passengers. And the other thing that it has are 2 USB ports for charging only, a USB-A and a USB-C. And unlike the other Rogue had this weird split console in the middle that you pulled down, and it had 2 cup holders, and then it was like a complete pass-through to the back, which was kind of cool, but then at the same time I worry about things in the back flying forward. Anyway, all that's changed. We've got a normal console here with cup holders, and we've got cup holders in the side of the door. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward back here, and I think it's perfect for your backseat passengers. Out of the back and into the most important seat, the driver's seat. Let's talk about everything that's going on up front. The interior has been completely redesigned for 2021. Let me show you some of my favorite accents. As with previous models, we have a D-shaped steering wheel, which is really comfortable for driving. All of your controls here on the steering wheel. And in this trim level, we've got an upgraded 9-inch multimedia display infotainment system. I've been primarily using it with Apple CarPlay. I like the interface a lot better than the Nissan interface, which just looks a little dated, but I don't know how many people are still using that. From there, we've got our climate control, which again, very sleek, very easy to use. We've got heated seats, heated steering wheel. I did test both of those out, even though it is 87 degrees outside right now. And that was just to make sure that they both work and they're both pretty efficient. As with the previous Nissan Rogue, I did find that there were some hot spots on the steering wheel, but I'm not going to call that out because it's the middle of summer and I don't think I'm really in the best position to judge that right now. Down here, this is now where your on-off button is. You've got your USB connections, both a USB-A and a USB-C. However, this does have wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. So you can, but you do not need to have a cord to connect. Now, I have a cord in the car most of the time because I am also charging. You can, as an option, get this pad right here as a wireless charger for your phone, and you would just set it down in here. So this one does not have it. It does also have a 12-volt port. They've upgraded the transmission shifter right here. It's now this square design, and I'll talk about that in a minute. We've got cup holders here. Before they were down here, and we've got the parking brake auto hold. These are the different drive modes. So most of the time I kept it in automatic. It does have eco mode and sport mode and snow mode and off-road, but I'm in Maryland and it's a pretty flat part of the state, so I didn't really do any off-roading. We're going to go ahead and take a look in the console here just so you can see what we've got. There's a nice notice that this car's been sanitized and a place for... Oh, wait, what? Okay, well, it's daytime, so I can't really show this to you, but I believe this gives you the ability to turn on or off the ambient lighting in the car and change the color. If we go back up to the dash and we're looking just from a cosmetic standpoint, my preference, I actually like that they did two-tone. It's brown and it's black, which is kind of weird because the car is gray and it's a black interior, but I don't like it when it's all black. I think it just makes it look a little bit dark and drab. So we've got two-tone up here, and I really like this right here, which is nothing more than plastic, but it's molded plastic that looks like it has wood grain. So it just kind of gives it a little bit of an upscale quality. Overall, I'm really kind of impressed with the interior of the Rogue. I think it's kind of a nice design. This right here is an option. This is the rimless mirror. And oh, here's another option, the panoramic moonroof. So you have the ability to put the shade back halfway, partway, and same thing with the sunroof. Allow me to be kind of girly for a minute here, but if you are a woman or a man that happens to carry a purse and you're always wondering where to put it, guess what? We got space for you right down here. Now in the summer, I downsize and I have a small purse and it fits perfectly down there, but it's also great for your electronics that you want to keep out of view, like my camera, or any other random junk. Face masks, tissues, sanitizing wipes. I love that they use that space down there. Now, one more thing I have to talk about that was in my last video, and I just revisited that, and that was the size of these visors. Can you get a sense of how big the visors are? I feel like most cars, the visors come to about here. These are really long, but most of the time, if you're using them, you're going to want to have them tilted away from you so that you can get the right level of adjustment, because otherwise, ain't no way you're going to see out that windshield when that visor's all the way down. Oops, one more thing, I forgot. Let's go back up here. Again, before I had a complaint, and it seemed minor, but my complaint was about the distance between this stalk and the steering wheel. It was an excessively large difference, and for my smaller hands, it just made it really awkward for driving. So I feel like Nissan watched my video and fixed all of my complaints. So thank you, Nissan, except for that really big visor. All right, I think we're ready to stop talking about cosmetics and start talking about what's under the hood. So what is under the hood is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. It is an improvement from the last model. It's gained about 11 horsepower, so it went from 170 to 181. And let me tell you, that makes a difference. It does still have the Xtronic CVT, which is the continuously variable transmission. And I would say overall, the drive experience with the Rogue is much better than I had last time. I feel at lower speeds, it's a little heavy and a little slow, a little loud too. But at higher speeds, it's got really good acceleration. I had no problem stepping on the gas on the highway and really accelerating pretty quickly. So the horsepower, 181, but for the size of the car, it feels like it's really well matched. So let's talk about the drive. So this is an electronic shifter. There is a button on the side, and you do have to press the button to put it into reverse. That does take a little bit of getting used to, and you pull it back to go into drive. Now, the one thing that you notice when I put it in reverse is up here, you see the surround camera. And it's not the highest quality stitch job, but definitely an improvement over what it was before. And depending on whether you're in drive mode or reverse it will depend on if it's going to show you front or rear view. The only thing I found is that the front parking sensor seems to be extremely sensitive. I'm not sure why. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. The rear parking sensor, I will tell you that when I was backing up into my driveway, I was trying to snug up this car as close as possible to my car in the driveway. And I guess I got a little too close for comfort because everything went off and beeped and it brought the car to a stop. So that's not something that I normally test, but I'm glad that it worked. So we're going to go ahead and pull it down, put it in drive, and we're going to take it in a slower speed. And it's just, acceleration's fine. It's not quick. I think I was reading that on a track it did 0 to 60 in 8.1 seconds, which is nothing to write home about. But I find that in the lower speeds, it just feels a little heavy. While I'm here, one thing I forgot to show you is the lumbar support. So let me tell you, if you are someone that likes lumbar support, and I am, this has serious lumbar support. Like, it was pushing my lower back so far out that I actually had to tone it down. So it has some serious lumbar support. Now we are going to get to a road where we can do a little bit faster driving, and I'm going to see if I can take it up to enough speeds to show you the Pro Pilot Assist. So the Pro Pilot Assist is Nissan's autonomous driving, and what that does is it uses sensors. It's kind of like lane departure warnings on steroids, and you can drive hands-free. Now, I did try this in the Nissan Leaf. I was up in Vermont with Nissan, and the Pro Pilot Assist back then was made so that you have to keep your hands on the wheel, even if you're not steering. It's basically engaging cruise control and lane control through advanced lane departure warnings to kind of keep you centered in the lane. Nissan has a pretty strong showing when it comes to autonomous driving. So if that's something that you care about, then I think it's worth checking out. Ready to wrap this up? I always like to close by giving you my overall thoughts. Talk about the price, talk about the gas mileage. Those are the things that are important to me. If there's something important to you, please let me know in the comments. 2021 Nissan Rogue SL all-wheel drive. Are you ready? MSRP is $33,400. We do have options included by the manufacturer. External ground lighting, $350. Two-tone paint, $350. Well worth it in my opinion. Illuminated kick plates, $400. Interior accent lighting, $350. Frameless rear view mirror with universal remote. That means it gives you the ability to open your garage doors. That's $310. The SL Premium Package for $1,320. That includes the 9-inch color touchscreen display, Nissan navigation, Sirius XM, Pro Pilot Assist, traffic sign recognition, Bose premium audio system, which I didn't talk about, but it does have a very nice audio system. I did put that to the test. Front and rear sonar, voice recognition. Destination charges, $1,095. That gives me a total of $37,575. That's a little expensive. But you know what? I gotta tell you, cars these days are expensive. It's hard to come by a good deal. And that is about what you're going to pay, at least in my area. I checked. And most things are either selling for MSRP or maybe as much as $1,200 below that. So if you're not looking for all the bells and whistles, you can get a better deal on either the S or the SV. And you can choose if you want front wheel drive or all wheel drive. Now, the front wheel versus all-wheel does affect your gas mileage, and so the fuel economy, 25 city, 32 highway, with a combined average of 28. I observed about 28, and I spent a lot of time idling in this car. So that's better than some of the other mid-size SUVs that I've tested out there. So I think from a gas mileage perspective, it's really, really good. So you just have to decide if the price is something that works for you or not. But if it were up to me, I would splurge on that two-tone paint. So thank you for joining me. I should have asked up front for you to like and subscribe, but if you've made it this far, I need you to like and subscribe so you can come back and see more great videos just like this. Thanks, guys.